Hello, good morning. Good morning. Okay, so I'm here again. Oluwashemi is here again on the second episode of our book review. And we're still reviewing um, the book by Tekena Ikoko, Sexual Purity. So I introduced the book on Tuesday, and today we'll just delve into the chapter 2 of the book. So it's getting hotter. All right, so if this is your first time of watching this video, you're welcome. You're welcome. And if you have any question, you can kindly drop it in the comment section. Yes. And if you have if you're joining live, you can drop your comments and I'll just see it and react to it. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the picture of confusion. The picture of confusion. And the episode 1, that's chapter 1 now. We spoke about Colin's story, the Virgin Collins. Collins is the guy, right? The Virgin Collins and the Virgin Paulina, right? Is it Paulina? Yeah, Paulina. So today we're talking about the picture of confusion: criminals or Christians. Do we have criminals these days or Christians? So why the word criminals or Christians? Coming from Colin's story, that's okay. Let me just paraphrase the story again. Collins is a guy who had 3 days to his wedding, and his friend asked him if he has been sexually compatible with his fiance, and he was surprised, like I'm a virgin, like, and the friend was surprised, hearing that his friend, a guy, is a virgin, and he had to ask him that is it that you don't know how to approach girls or that you don't know how to perform, and he was like, okay, do you expect um that his fiance, yes, that like does he expect his fiance to be a virgin um while meeting him? And Maurice, his friend, answered yes, of course. So he was like, so he expects um his fiance to be a virgin while he has liberty, to swim about, and he couldn't say anything again, that his friend couldn't say anything again. So from his phrase now, he said, are we supposed to play in the general pool and then find a pond, a private pond? um, why is the standard for sexual purity different? We often hear the phrase, men are polygamous in nature, right? But I asked, so let me just move on to this part of the book that says that how does one handle the fire of love and yet maintain purity? Hi, you're welcome. Sorry, wow, you're welcome. Okay. So I said, how does one handle the fire of love and yet maintain purity? How do we handle the fire of love and yet maintain purity? This will lead us to the common questions being asked on social media about dating. So we move on to the next subtopic here, which is entitled dating or trading. Dating or trading. And I've also had this many questions a lot. I've also had these questions a lot, like says who? Men are polygamous in nature. So how does technical start this chapter? He said criminals or Christians. Where does the desire for an exclusive sex partner originate? How many men of this generation love the idea of sharing their lovers with others? Is it true that God made us male and female and not males and female, or male and females? Why do we all instinctively demand faithfulness from a lover? That's because you just expect that whoever you are um, married to should not have another sex partner, right? That's because that is how God even planned it. Male, he created them male and female, right? So I will just have to read this because it really touched me. Right? The intimate knowledge of a woman is exclusive right of her husband. To know a woman intimately and sexually is to know her preferred sex style, her erogenous zones, and her intimate corners. When Adam had sex with his wife, Eve, the Bible says that Adam knew his wife. Adam's knowledge of Eve went beyond her best meals, uh, uh, it went beyond her best meals, favorite colors, and preferred spots in the garden. When Adam knew Eve, he could take her on a journey of sex beyond casual romance and intercourse. He knew her, so he knew how to satisfy her. So she knew him also, so she knew how to get him in the mood even if he didn't feel like. She had the secret knowledge of unfettered access into Adam's inner chamber. Sex for the first couple was more than a eat and run game. It was not a one night stand. So we delve into sharing the story of Abimelech. All these stories is just to emphasize the fact that we are made for one sex partner. That's how God created it to be. We are made for one sex partner. So all these phrases that men are polygamous in nature, a man can never be faithful with a woman, like it's just not natural for the man. No, that's not how it was. That's not how it was from the beginning. So King Abimelech took a lady into his home. He was about to explore the sexual knowledge database of Sarah when there was an uproar in heaven. Didn't he see the privacy sign? The heavenly one visited Abimelech in the dream and sealed his fate. And you know what he said? He said, "You are a dead man." That's the heavenly one speaking to Abimelech now. He said, "You are a dead man." Abimelech protested, but God asked him a simple question: do you want to draw from the well of Sarah, which is the exclusive right of Abraham, her husband? The story of Abimelech when Abraham came to their region, and because he feared that they will kill him because of how beautiful Sarah is, and because of how beautiful Sarah was, and he lied. He pretended to be Sarah's brother, to be Sarah's brother, so that they won't kill him. And Sarah also played along. But Abimelech, God didn't grant Abimelech any excuse or because he said you're a dead man. Why? Because you've taken another person's wife, you've taken another person's private, right? So he said the innocence of motive, the beating drum of I really loved her when I set my eyes on her, or even the cooperation of Abraham was not sufficient an excuse of adultery. So no man was to have access to a woman's sexual knowledge if he was not legally and spiritually bound to her. Heaven pronounced such a person a dead man, even while he still lived. So Abimelech was a mighty king on earth, but he was man enough to submit to the will of the King of Kings and return Sarah to the rightful owner. Another story here is the story of Mary, the Virgin Mary. Mary was engaged to Joseph, right? And they had probably courted for some years. She knew Joseph's parents, she knew everything about Joseph, she knew where Joseph worked, right? The engaged couple, contrary to the ways of this current generation, did not have any intimate knowledge of themselves. They have not had sex. Because why how do we know? Because when the Holy Spirit came to Mary and told her that, okay, when the angel came to Mary and told her that you will have a child, the first question Mary asked was that, how will these things be since I know no man? So you will know that knowing is beyond knowing Joseph's parents, knowing Joseph's background, or knowing Joseph's workplace and all. The knowing she meant there is that I've not had any intimate knowledge of this woman, of this man. They've not had any sex. So what a shock. You mean Joseph had not tested the waters? Are you sure Joseph was a real man? Yes, Joseph was a real man. They are like they've been courting, but they've not had sex. Contrary to what we have these days, right? Once you're engaged or once you're dating someone, just expect that you can test the waters and just check our sexual compatibility. Just like Colin's friend asked him, have you checked your sexual compatibility? So if you're not compatible sexually, you can now leave her and just move on to another person to check if you're sexually compatible. Ah, hey Jesus! So you now be testing so until you find your whole thing is until you get to the tenth person before you find okay, I think you're sexually compatible again. I can marry you. Really? Like, do we think that's how God wants it to be? Anyway, let's look further. So, as we look into this interesting subject of sexual purity, let's be reminded that anyone who preys on classified government documents is a spy, right? We agree on that, right? Anyone who grabs information beyond his security clearance is a terrorist. And anyone who steals another person's sexual knowledge is a criminal. Anyone who steals another person's sexual knowledge is a criminal. You've not had any commitment to marry this person, but you're already knowing this person sexually. Technically, Coco is calling you a criminal because you are. Are you saying we can't have boyfriends anymore? Like, how do we get married? Is dating a sin? Is dating a sin? Or am I going to marry a stranger? Are we going to simply propose to a lady and take her to the altar the next day? They carried out a survey from the University of Utah and compiled the following. They had the following results about the dating age and probability of having sex. So, if a young person, number one of their discoveries is that if a young person begins dating at the age of 12, if a young person begins dating at the age of 12, there's 91% chance that they will have sex before they graduate from high school. If they begin dating at 13, there's a 56% chance that they will have sex before they finish high school. If they start dating at the age of 14, there's 53% chance that they will have sex before they finish high school. If they begin at the age of 15, there is 40% chance. And if they begin at the age of 16, it drops down to 20%. So you see that the older they get, the less the chance to have sex before they finish school. So the older they get, so what is the effect of this? How can we relate this to, should we say, their maturity right now or their knowledge base? How exposed they've been. Closeness to the opposite sex come with the attendant pressure for intimacy and sex. The antidote is what? Is maturity. So the difference between this survey now is their level of maturity. And how do we define maturity here? So maturity comes majorly in three ways: the physical development, the mental capacity, and the spiritual balance. The physical development, the mental capacity, and spiritual balance. So this gives proper landing cushion for sexual pressure. When they are younger, they are more there's more pressure to let's try this, especially if such a teenager is being exposed to um movies that have a lot of sex scenes or exposed to pornography and all. So maturity connotes responsibility, and responsibility demands commitment. Maturity connotes responsibility, like you being responsible for yourself, you being responsible for your life. And the older you get, the more responsible you become in a way. And that also depends on your level of exposure, right? So, and you said responsibility demands commitment. So maturity pushes boys to become men, right? Responsibility requires that a man is prepared to guard, and to govern a home. So you expect of a mature woman to provide tact and balance to a man's vision. So point blank here is that no man has the right to demand a woman's heart and attention if it's not for the long haul of commitment and marriage. I'll repeat that. He said, no man has the right to demand a woman's heart and attention if it's not for the long haul of commitment and marriage. I remember when was you, I think when I was in SS3, when I started getting a lot of attention and all, and like two guys from, one from my church, and he came to me and was like, okay, like I really like how I was in choir, right? I really like how you worship. It really moved me, and I said, okay, bless God, glory be to God. And from there, he asked for, can we be going out together? Can we be in a relationship? And then I really can't pinpoint how I actually know this name. I maybe Holy Spirit shall. But there was one question I just asked him. I said that, are you ready for marriage? He said, no, no, can just be going out. And we're in the same level. I think he has finished school then. I said, okay, you're not ready for marriage, but you want us to start a relationship, to be dating, right? He said, yes. I said, if you're not ready for marriage, why should we start what I cannot finish? I was like, what do I mean? I said, where are you staying? He said, you know my house now. Okay, I said, okay. You're still living with your parents and you want us to start going out, start this. Are you working yet? He said, I'm still processing my admission, now. Okay, you're still processing your admission. That means your parents are still the one paying, that will be paying your school fee and all. So why do you want me to go into a relationship with you? Can you take care of me? And it was just so like, no, like we can just, you know, and it was just, everything was just not just making sense to me. And I think one of my other friends that also asked me out, that was the same question, because I just believe that for you to be in a relationship, it has to be, you have to have a vision. I don't know how I even just came to that knowledge then, but thank God for that knowledge. For me, thank God for that knowledge, because that saved me from a lot of going from one guy to the other. So why trade with people's destiny and emotion and future in a caricature exercise of fun and game? Because he just expects us to just be, for the fun of it. And I'll be like, okay, and another question I asked him was, okay, what's more to us being in a relationship than this friendship that we already have? Say, oh, no, there'll be more closeness. I said, are we not close enough? So what more closeness? And he now really understand what I'm getting to. He said, no, no, it does not mean we'll be having sex. I said, so what are we going to be having? We are friends already. Can't you just leave it as friendship? It does not mean that we'll be having sex and all. No, it's just that there's just this closeness that we have. I said, but I don't think there's need for any other closeness aside this that we already have as friends. And many people that, or other guys that have asked me out, that have confronted with this question, just don't have a concrete answer. They don't have a concrete answer. And I keep telling teenagers that comes in contact with me, that don't let anybody play with your destiny, and don't let them play with your emotions in the name of just having fun and game. No. Freedom is a freedom without responsibility is anarchy. Freedom without responsibility is anarchy. You want us to start enjoying the privilege of um, married people without us being married. We want to enjoy the privilege of those that are committed to each other without us having that commitment per se, right? And it just, when I read this part, it just made me remember. I've forgotten the quotes I put on my IG page one day like that, and I've forgotten the person who quoted that, but I think I wrote it down here. Yeah, that God does not set people free to do as they please. God does not set people free to do as they please or to establish their ethos and morality. With freedom comes the kingdom principle. You can't say because okay, I've entered university now, I'm free to do anything I want to do. No, no mommy calling me when I go out late and all. Freedom is not licensed to you just doing anyhow. Freedom is not freedom comes with God. Freedom comes with kingdom principles. Freedom comes with you being responsible for yourself. It comes with some guide from God that you need to live by. Right. Okay. So delving on to this question again, is dating a sin? Is dating a sin? Well, let's hear what Takana Ikoko had to say about it in this book. It says so. This depends on your definition of dating. It depends on your definition of dating. If you define dating as courtship, then it is not a sin. Courtship means that you and your partner are in this relationship for the end goal of getting married. Then it is not a sin. Okay, he gave example of how Jacob he said Jacob will have courted Rachel for 14 years. He waited 7 years. They gave him Leah, and he now waited another 7 years to get Rachel, right? So he said Jacob must have courted Rachel for 14 years, but he didn't have sex with her or a substitute, Leah, until their wedding night. So they stayed for 14 years courting. He was seeing someone he loved every day, and he didn't touch her, right? Jacob's courtship was not licensed to visit Rachel's bedroom. Let's remember that 99% of guys who disflower ladies do not proceed to marrying them. And that's true. So if you define a date as someone who accompanies you to an event and there are no strings attached, then in some circles and culture, this is possible and can be done in a godly way, right? If you define dating as an intimate friendship without commitment, then you will be raising a red flag. If you define dating as an intimate friendship without commitment, you'll be raising a red flag. You are just in a relationship without any goal in mind. You don't know yet if you want to marry the person. But the person said, let's see how it goes. That's red flag. The person want to test. Like I said earlier, the person want to test your sexual compatibility. Really? So it's an intimacy without commitment is out of order. I know it's an in thing these days, right? But it is does not mean that it is the right thing. Those who get the milk for free never buy the cow. So if you've given it it's my boyfriend, are you well maybe they ask you the question, are you going to marry each other? We don't know yet, we're just still seeing how everything turns out. Wow. And your person have already known you intimately. Wow. That's out of order. It's out of God's order. Like you saw in the story of Abimelech, right? So, he said this form of dating involves trading of emotions and transfer of cheap talk between two lonely souls. It is a twisted and corrupt form of relationship. So if you're listening to me and you're in that kind of relationship, please define the relationship. Let us know where we are going. If someone comes to you and say, okay, I want to take you out, I want to ask the person where I'm going to. So if someone asks to be in a relationship with you, ask them to what end? Where are we going to? Where will the relationship end to before I know if I found follow you or not? And that's the right question to ask. Someone cannot come to me and say, let's see how it goes. No, I'm not in a game of what's it called now? Hide and seek or a game of uncertainty. No, you have to be certain. You have to be sure where you are going to before I can follow you. Or you just enter a car, the person is just carrying you, like driving, and you ask the person, where are we going? I don't know. Where God leads us. Are you Abraham? You have to have a destination. Let's have a destination before I follow you. Right? Okay, so he said when two intimate folks spend more time alone, it is only natural that they engage in erotic relationship. You can't say that she's my friend, and you're getting intimate and intimate every day, and you don't expect that something will come out of that. Today is your shoulder, you are in a private place together. You touch your shoulder today, tomorrow you touch your the from shoulder it will lead to the boobs. From the boobs, it will graduate, it will surely graduate. And you just say, no, we're just friends, second friendship. So he said it's only natural. And this natural flow is not necessary because it's not necessarily because they are in love. We exhibit erotic tendency in any atmosphere of intimacy, irrespective of who is involved. So whenever we sow seeds of care, attention, and respect without boundaries, whenever we sow seeds of care, attention, and respect without boundaries, not that, without boundaries, you've not defined your relationship. We harvest infatuation, abuse, and misplaced priorities. You're in a relationship with someone that tell you, let's see how it goes. The person is not certain. This relationship you're just in for, we don't know where we are going to yet. Then you are sowing seed of care. You cook for the guy, you buy gifts for the lady. You usually harvest infatuation. You will think you are in love, but it will just be lost flying all about. You harvest abuse with time, and you harvest misplaced priorities. The things you're supposed to talk about, you won't be able to talk about. Like one of my mentors will say that when we start kissing, there won't be time to talk, right? Courtship is a place of asking questions, right? So when you go to court, you ask questions, you get answer back. But when we start kissing in courtship, that conversation that's supposed to take place would not be sentiment will cloud everything. Your emotions will cloud your mind. Your brain will be disconnected from your mouth. And you'll be able to ask the right question. Well, I think I've jumped right. We are still going to get there. So this other part of the book, okay, almost at the end. This other part of the book that talks about rotten, yes, RRR, rotten reasons for relationships. So some reasons some people give for being in a relationship. So the passion for trading under the guise of courtship, because he call it trading, all those kind of dating that's without commitment, being in intimate relationship with someone without commitment, is you're just trading your emotions for your destiny. Yeah. So the passion for trading under the guise of courtship and marriage has been used as an erroneous platform to commence relationship. So as I listen to the reasons that people give for starting a relationship, when they say I love you, I think they mean I sex you. So I sent it to my Facebook chat with someone. Okay, this date was talking to Williams. So Williams, Williams' story is funny. Williams is in a relationship with a lady who, when he was not around for a while, the lady started dating another person. And when he came back, the lady told him that, okay, I'm sorry, I don't know how to cut the relationship with this guy. I love both of you. Have you heard that before? Especially from a guy that I love both of you. I don't know what. So he accepted the lady back, but knowing fully well that the lady was still in another relationship. But Mr. Tekenai Koko told him the blunt truth that you may already no man can serve two masters. I think the last reason he gave here, he said, I would say, okay, he said, okay, Tekena Koko asked the question that is this lady double dating? He was trying to use another thing to cover up for her. And he had to come out straight that, okay, he said, I will say so because she has not broken up with the other guy. I spend more time with her than the other guy. She gives me all the attention I need, and above all, she understands me better than any other girlfriend had. I have had. Like that's his reason for staying with this girl, who if he's fully aware that he's dating another guy. But technically, Coco told him the blunt truth that you may already have known, but that okay, you may already have known this truth. I would say you may already have known. No man can serve two masters. He will either love one and hate the other. or hate one and love the other. Basically, she's prostituting herself between the two of you. A woman who can tell two men the same thing at the same time is unreliable. So let me tell you what many folks do not know. We don't love one person more than another, as though it is 10 naira love here, 3 naira love there. We choose to love. So right now you are carried away emotionally, even though you can see the major character flaw. If she loves you, then she should leave you and cleave to another person. And many in my own case now, many girls do fall for this. They know the guy is having an affair, and they just believe that, especially ladies that have this mindset that men are polygamous in nature. So you know that your guy is dating another lady, or is sleeping around, and you just choose to stay, right? Well, that's number one, crisis identity crisis, right? You self don't know yourself. You don't know what you want if you're in that kind of relationship. You don't know what you want. You don't think that you deserve the best. So your self-esteem is kind of battered. And I think you should seek for help if you're in that kind of relationship. Okay, I think one of the points he made here that I really must share with you. I think you should actually get this book if you want to get more juice, right? Manipulation is a disorder of the heart that forces the mouth to disconnect from the brain. Manipulation is a disorder of the heart that forces the mouth to disconnect from the brain until over time its recent actions contradict its previous speech. So over time, this person manipulating you with sweet words, his recent actions will contradict all the sweet words he has spoken previously. So you either choose the rule or the ruler. Whether you call it dating, socializing, trading, or courtship, the question about purity and godly boundaries continue to cause confusion. Like some of the questions people ask. We're already engaged to be married. Can't I give him what will soon be is? That's some people's excuse for having sex before marriage. He already said we are going to marry. Like, can't I just give him what will soon be is? Why can't he wait since it will soon be is? Why can't he wait till it is? Right? Isn't a relationship without pecking, necking, and kissing boring? Some people think that what are we going to be doing if you're not kissing, if you're not pecking, if you're not if you're not necking? What are we going to be doing in a relationship? Maybe you should ask Jacob what he was doing with Rachel for 14 years that he didn't sleep with Rachel. What was Jacob doing? And there are many things to talk about in courtship. Mayayi, you're welcome. There are many things to talk about in courtship. So maybe we should study that book of Genesis again, the story of Jacob and Rachel, and how Isaac got his wife, right? Don't worry, we'll still dive into it um, in more chapters of this book. So we're just starting out, right? Another question here is that, is there anything wrong with her coming over to spend some weekend in my house and helping me with some house chores? No commitments yet, and you're already doing this. All right. Can we give each other simple kiss? Can we give each other simple kiss or a French kiss? Is there no holy kiss? All right. So another question here is that it was the first person to deflower me. I am no more a virgin. There's nothing to preserve for my wedding night. So why should I stop him from having a second goal? Have you heard about secondary virginity? Yes. Okay. Let me just read through the remaining last two questions. So my husband is unfaithful. The condoms and lipstick stain shared are evidence. Why should I remain faithful to an unfaithful man? So you think because your husband go from one woman to the other, that gives you the license to also be unfaithful in that marriage? And I think if you remember the chapter one, we talk about um, which shifting blame of our sexual immorality on others, right? So this person is shifting the blame of our sexual immorality on our husband, forgetting that on the day of judgment, your husband, there's no husband, or there's no husband wife. You will stand alone and will be judged alone. So what will be your excuse then? So maybe that's what you should remember. The last question here is that when I masturbate, I am only helping myself. Is it not better to masturbate than to fornicate? So some people think that, okay, since they are not fornicating, maybe the Bible says that with the bed undefiled, right? I'm not fornicating with any other person, it's with myself. So is it still a sin? So this is the end of chapter 2. So answers to all these questions will be clear, or you get clarity to it. And in the course of this book, because of the other more chapters we're going to treat. So the questions seems endless. I know I've also asked some many questions from people. So people want a rule for everything. They want a rule for every situation. The Kana says that I do not have a rule. Nevertheless, if you read on, we'll discover wisdom from the ruler, who is Jesus. Then you can cast your vote. So, like I used to tell people that before you take on any action, ask yourself, what would Jesus do if he's in this kind of situation? What would Jesus do? And some people just think maybe that question is unrealistic. Well, when we go more into the chapters of this book, we'll know your vote. You'll be the one to answer your questions by yourself. Nobody, I'm not here to give anybody rule one, this is what you should do, rule two. And that does not work for anyone. Yes. But as we go into the chapters of the book, you will answer your questions yourself. You will choose either you want to go by the rules or you want to follow the ruler, who is Jesus. Yes. Thank you. So this is where we draw the curtain for today's book review. And I leave you with that question. Is dating a sin? So I think you can even answer that from what we just treated, right? See you on Tuesday. Yeah, we'll be doing this every Tuesday and Thursday. See you on Tuesday. And in case you missed this session, it will be dropped in my YouTube. Yeah, the full video will be in my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, thank you for listening. And if you have any comments or if you have more questions, apart from maybe I didn't even read the questions in your heart like this, and you can drop it in the comment section or just send a DM. Yeah, thank you. Bye. Thank you, Soyi, for joining. Thank you, Mayai. Bye bye.